Well, welcome back. Welcome to 2021. I wanted to kick off this year with just tools and things that I've been using to help move forward in goals and objectives and just my own personal growth. I've realized that in sharing and some of the classes that we're doing more anecdotally, that there's things that I do to help this idea of continuous learning and growth that are just things on the side that I'm doing. And some people are interested in that. And so I thought I'd just go ahead and kind of share the toolbox personally. And I do believe very strongly that if you improve yourself, then you'll have more to give for those that you're working with. So we don't walk in, as have shared before, that we're not walking in as just as moist robots and everything's fine. We walk into the door at work, or if we're logging in, to the Zoom meeting, that everything's fine. Even if there's challenges and issues going on in our personal life, I really do feel like we bring that in. There's a lot to that. So the better we can handle those things, the better we are as leaders to bring that to our teams, to the organizations that we work with. It's like they say on the airplanes, when there's some kind of turbulence and a drop in pressure, then the masks drop down. They say to put your own mask on first. So this is a little bit of that. Put your own mask on first. And I know that lots of people do like the New Year's resolutions, and I've done this plenty of times too. And we struggle and we fail. Statistically, most of us fail. So I'm going to share tools that have worked for me, that have seen a lot of growth, and personally, I've seen a lot of growth this last year. And you can see what you think, comment or ask questions, reach out to us. Glad to help those that we can, and see where they go for you. So first off, what I have in front of me is something called the Catalyst Canvas. Now, this is a specific tool that is presented in the Certified Agile Leadership Essentials class, which is now a one-day class from the Scrum Alliance. It used to be part of the CAL, Certified Agile Leadership class. But specifically, because all the CALs are different, all the CAL-Es are different, everyone can figure out their own growth models for that. So this one's coming in particular from the Agile Leadership Journey. I'm one of the guides for Agile Leadership Journey. Agile Leadership Journey was formed by Pete Behrens, who really was the spearhead behind not only the Certified Agile Leadership Program, but also the Certified Enterprise Coach, Certified Scrum Coach, originally with the Scrum Alliance, has served with the Scrum Alliance for many, many years, and has served as an executive and leadership coach for many, many years. So Agile Leadership Journey is a collection of trainers and guides across the globe, about 2 dozen of them. And I do not only the 2-day training courses with them, but also you might want to take a look at the CAL2 program, which is the practice program, which is a multi-month small cohort group where you get together with others and practice these things and learn them. So it's also not only presented in that part 2 program, but it's actually homework that we work week in, week out. So take a look at that if you're interested. But for now, let me just give you a quick overview. And I think there's some helpful information just in that. You can take a look and see. And also we'll look at the roots of where this comes from. So as we look at this Catalyst Canvas, as we call it now, there's just mainly 5 steps to this. So first of all, in the center of that, what's the goal? What are we trying to achieve? What's something significant? For me personally, I do want to separate this from mission. Mission will be ongoing. Like my mission is to help others. My mission is to serve those in need, or my mission is to make an impact in the world. Now, specific goals are things that are usually time-bound, time blocks that we can achieve or accomplish. So if my mission is, live a healthy, active life, well, my goal as part of that, this year is to lose 10 pounds or to, gain 10 pounds of muscle or something like that. So just for clarity, that might be helpful. And I do like the acronym of the SMART goals: specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. So set out some goals. And I do challenge you, you might want to actually just set this aside. Don't try to get the right goal. Maybe just brainstorm a whole bunch of goals and then let that sit for a little bit and come back to it and see what really bubbles up. Sometimes when I do that, I just look for what keeps coming back to my mind over a day or two. And usually that's the right thing, whatever that is. It may not look the best on paper, but it's what's been preoccupying my mind. It's something I'm kind of emotionally attached to. So take a look at that too. So maybe you brainstorm a bunch of goals, let that just sit, treat it like a product backlog, bubble a few of them up. The others aren't being deleted. They're just sitting there for later when the time is right for that. So you come up with a specific goal, what are you trying to accomplish? And then we go around clockwise, starting in the top left, which is why now? Why is this so important? So I do want to think about this. Why does this matter? Why is it so important right now that we do something about that? It could wait, but in this case, it can't wait like the other goals. Why is that? Why is there a sense of urgency? And really, this is where you bring your personal self into that and say, why is this so important to me right now? And then after that, what small steps can you take towards that, and breaking it down? And again, this is not different from the product backlog. I just treat it like a personal product backlog. Breaking those things down means that you can see concrete progress on that And not only real steps, but get feedback. You can share it with others. You can see what does it look like to really move the needle towards that. It's the difference between saying I'm going to clean up my garage versus I'm going to take care of all the the things in the garage I don't use anymore, or I'm going to go through, I'm going to get rid of all my extra stuff I don't need anymore. How about I just start with a small product backlog item that's clean up my closet, right? So break it down nice and small. When I put effort into that, I'm surprised that the time is always worth it. At the moment, I'm never thrilled with that, but breaking it down nice and small means that that day or the very next day, I'm getting something done. And over again, we see that matters for us. Emotionally, it matters for us personally. Start to get momentum. So take a look at that, break it down in small steps, and you can keep revisiting that, but list down very small steps that you can do towards that. How would you measure that you're making progress? I mentioned already, maybe that's on the scale, maybe that's number of boxes or number of trips to the Goodwill to give away those extra things, whatever that might be. I like to put specific things, and I kind of play with this. I don't treat it so seriously, much more as a mental experiment of what am I watching, what am I tracking, what's realistic. We might get on our teams that we work with in the software field and say, oh, we're not good at estimating. You'd be surprised how we're not good at estimating in our own personal life. So take a look at that, see if that might find helpful. There's putting things on those kind of measures on that. And then obstacles. What do you think is going to get in the way personally of that? It could be I get discouraged easily. It could be I have no support network. No one really holds me accountable. I mean well, but like they say that like for quitting smoking, the quitting is easy. It's just not starting back up again is the hard part. People quit many times. So think honestly, what's gotten in the way? What tripped you up in the past? I think there is some important piece of this for me that I've seen personally in my own growth, but in the lives of many others is ruthless honesty about this. You have to kind of, in this part, you won't make real progress unless you really own that. Like in the same thing in the organizations, we can't really get better unless we face what the real issue are. And I look at, Jim Collins says, face the brutal facts. There's a little bit of this, or as one program calls it, a fearless and searching moral inventory. You really look and say, where am I at? Because if I don't reckon from where I really am starting from, then I'm kidding myself on what those steps would be. So let's imagine that I'm in terrible shape. I need to lose 100 pounds. And I have this goal of, I'm going to run a marathon. That'd be really cool. But that's not realistic from where I'm starting. The obstacles are, great and vast to be able to do that. If I would be honest with myself about where I'm really starting from, then maybe the realistic goal I can make some real progress on is, is just doing, just walking a 5K or something like that. But I got to be honest about those obstacles. There's things that would get in the way. They're problematic from that. And I think also honestly about our own willpower. I think we overrate our ability to, I'm just going to make this happen. I'm going to lose this weight, but we're not honest that, it's harder to resist the Cheetos in the pantry. It's easier to never put them in the shopping cart. So if you're interested in how that motivation works, a couple of references I would look at in that particular area: Switch, How to Change When Change is Hard. And they do talk some about that. There's a moment when you have willpower that's just mental and you can make those decisions. But once our emotions are kicked in, it's a fight that we lose many times. So just don't set yourself up to see how strong you can be to overcome whatever that obstacle or temptation is. So those are some things you can do in obstacles. Now, I'm painting all this in terms of your own personal growth. These are obviously tools that we use in our organization, where we look at the challenges in our organizations and then walk through in exactly the same way. But I do believe in dog fooding. I think when you walk in as a leader, really practicing this yourself, then you're speaking from a place of authenticity, working with them like, no, these tools really do work. I've used them in my own life and I'm seeing growth in my own lives, right? So, or we want people to get better at workplace, but why wouldn't we expect ourselves to get better? We expect, top level performance in the workplace. Why not top level performance in our own lives? So, of course, these tools are for the organizations. I think they're great tools for that, but I think they're wonderful tools to use ourselves personally. Now, as I said, this is coming from the Cal-E program through Agile Leadership Journey, and I'll put the references in the notes so you can take a look at that. That would be a one-day class. It's really based on your own personal leadership growth. We want all people in any kind of a leadership position to take that. And then the second half that I really like a lot is focused on organizations and how do you lead that change. But for now, we'll leave that as it is for the one-day program. You can get more information on that. And of course, the practice program I mentioned, actually kind of hold yourself accountable, be part of a small group that's going through that together. And that runs twice a year. So be looking out for that. But let me show you a little bit on where this is coming from. So this is borrowed from, and originally the program had something from Salesforce, but another video, I'll show you the roots of that. We'll take a look. So we might have to just edit this out a little bit. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Just a little bit of information. Hope that's helpful to kick off your new year. And we hope to see you again at the Rocket 9 YouTube channel sometime real soon. Take care.